Right now, at this exact second, a 5-year-old version of you might be making decisions for the adult you've become. Not metaphorically, literally. That job you're too scared to quit even though it's draining you? That relationship you keep going back to even though it hurts every single time? That sorry you just said for something that wasn't even your fault? All of it can trace back to 5 specific moments. Moments so small your own parents probably don't remember them. But your nervous system does. It remembers every single one. And number 5 on this list is the most dangerous of all because almost nobody ever recognizes it in themselves until it has already cost them a relationship, a career, or 10 years of their life. I'm not exaggerating. By the end of this video, you're going to recognize yourself at least once, maybe twice. So stay until the end because number 5 is probably controlling you right now and you don't even know it yet. Here's what almost nobody tells you about childhood. Your brain wasn't built to remember facts before the age of 7. Most of us can barely remember what happened when we were 4, 5, 6 years old. But here's the twist. While your brain wasn't storing facts, it was storing something far more powerful: feelings. Psychologists call this implicit memory, a pattern written into your body before you ever had the words to describe what was happening to you. So even though you don't remember most of what happened before age 10, your body remembers exactly how it felt. And for years, maybe decades, it has been reacting to that feeling on autopilot. Let's go through these 5 patterns, one at a time. Count how many apply to you. Most people stop counting after 3. Number 1, love that had to be earned. Maybe your parents weren't cruel. Maybe they were even genuinely loving people. But the love came with a condition. It showed up loudest after the report card, after the trophy, after you made them proud in front of the relatives. And somewhere in that repeated pattern, a quiet rule got written into you without a single word ever said out loud. I am only worth loving when I am achieving something. Psychologist Carl Rogers identified this back in the 1950s. He called it conditions of worth. A child doesn't just learn what their parents want from them, they learn what they have to become in order to be loved at all. Fast forward 20 years, and that child has grown into an adult who cannot sit still, who feels a wave of guilt the moment they try to rest, who ties their entire identity to their job title, their bank balance, their next achievement. The world calls this person ambitious, a hard worker, driven, but underneath, it's often something much quieter and much sadder. A nervous system that has never once felt safe simply existing without performing for someone. If the idea of a completely lazy Sunday, doing absolutely nothing, makes you anxious instead of relaxed, this might be exactly why. Number 2, being told again and again to stop crying. Don't cry, you're fine. Stop being so dramatic, it's not a big deal. Simple sentences, said maybe 100 times before you even turned 12. Each time, the real message wasn't actually about the crying itself. The real message was, your emotions are inconvenient for the people around you. Keep them to yourself. And here's the disturbing part most people never learn. Research on emotional suppression shows the feeling doesn't disappear just because you pushed it down. It goes underground. It resurfaces later as anxiety that seems to come from nowhere, as sudden anger over something tiny, as a body that mysteriously gets sick more often under stress because it's been holding tension for years with nowhere for it to go. As an adult, this shows up as the person who says, "I'm fine," while quietly falling apart on the inside. The friend everyone goes to for comfort, who goes completely numb the second it's finally their own turn to feel something. You didn't become strong by learning to hide your emotions. You became disconnected from them. And somewhere along the way, you mistook that disconnection for strength. If you've already recognized yourself twice, comment 2 right now before you keep watching. Let's see how many of you are still counting by the time we get to number 5.
Number 3. Never knowing which version of your parent you were going to get. Warm and affectionate one day, cold, distant, or suddenly angry the next, for reasons a child could never predict or understand. Psychologists John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth spent decades studying exactly this. What they found was that children exposed to unpredictable caregiving don't simply learn, "I am safe" or "I am unsafe." They learn something far more exhausting to carry. I never know which one I'm going to get today, so I need to stay alert all the time, just in case. That child grows into an adult psychologists describe as anxiously attached, someone who reads a delayed text message as proof they're being rejected,
who apologizes first in every argument just to make the tension stop even when they weren't wrong, who stays in relationships that hurt them because unpredictable love still somehow feels more familiar, more like home, than love that is calm and steady. And here's the cruel irony. Healthy, secure relationships can actually feel boring to this person at first. Not because peace is bad, but because their nervous system was trained on chaos, and chaos is what it recognizes as normal. Number 4, becoming the peacekeeper inside your own home. Maybe there was constant conflict between your parents. Maybe one of them was struggling, emotionally, financially, or with something they never fully explained to a child who was far too young to understand it. And somewhere inside that mess, you took on a job no child should ever have to carry, managing the emotions of the adults around you. Therapists have a name for this. They call it parentification. You weren't just a kid in that house. You became the family's emotional shock absorber. That child grows into the adult who physically cannot say the word no, who apologizes for taking up space in a room, who feels a tight knot form in their stomach the instant someone nearby seems even slightly upset, because their entire childhood taught them one unbreakable rule. If I don't fix this feeling immediately, something bad is going to happen. The world calls this person easygoing, low maintenance, so mature for their age. In reality, they never got the chance to find out what they actually wanted, because they were always too busy reading the room, managing everyone else's emotional weather. And now, number 5, the most dangerous one, the one I promised you at the very beginning. Constant comparison. Why can't you be more like your brother? Your cousin scored higher than you. Look how well behaved she is. Why can't you sit still like that? Said casually sometimes. Said even lovingly sometimes, dressed up as motivation. But here's what actually happens inside a young, developing brain when it hears this. The child does not hear, try a little harder. The child hears something far more permanent. As I am, right now, I am not enough. And that voice does not stay behind in childhood. It moves in permanently. Psychologists call it the inner critic, a voice that sounds exactly like your own thoughts, in your own internal voice, which is exactly why you never once think to question it. This is why so many genuinely high-achieving adults still privately feel like frauds, convinced someone is about to find them out. It's why some people quietly sabotage themselves right before real success arrives, turning down the opportunity at the last second, starting a fight right when things are finally going well, pulling away right when someone starts to truly know them. It is not bad luck. It is not just how you are. It is a decades-old voice, still grating you against a sibling, a cousin, a classmate you probably haven't thought about in 15 years. And this one is the most dangerous of all 5, because it doesn't feel like an old wound. It feels like the truth about who you are. Here's the uncomfortable part underneath all 5 of these patterns. None of them require what you'd call a bad childhood. Most of the parents who created these patterns genuinely loved their children. They were doing the best they could with what they themselves were given, often repeating, without realizing it, the exact same patterns their own parents once gave them. So this isn't about blame. It was never about blame. It's about recognition. Because here's what neuroscience can actually tell us. The brain remains capable of change, something called neuroplasticity, for your entire life, not just childhood. A pattern written into you at age 5 can absolutely be rewritten at 25, at 45, even at 70. The moment you can name the pattern, oh, that's not really who I am. That's just the 5-year-old inside me, still trying to stay safe the only way they knew how. That is the first step towards something that child never once got to have, an actual choice. You get to decide, as the adult in the room now, which of these old rules you continue carrying, and which ones you are finally allowed to put down. So out of all 5, Conditional love, suppressed emotions, unpredictable caregiving, parentification, or that inner critic? Which one hit closest to home for you? Comment the number below. I read every single one, and honestly, some of the most powerful, most honest conversations on this entire channel happen down there in the comments, not in the video itself. If this helped you understand yourself even a little better today, that is exactly why this channel exists, to turn psychology into something you can actually use in your real life. Subscribe, because next week I'm covering a pattern that's even harder to catch than all 5 of these combined. The one where you don't even realize you're the one repeating it on your own kids. I'll see you in the next one.